There's a dirty little secret about this most recent funding bill to keep the government open, and it's simply this. It's very strange. See, Republicans usually vote against these bills, but this time they voted almost entirely unanimously for this funding bill, while at the same time Donald Trump is talking about cutting taxes for the wealthy and corporations. This doesn't make sense. If you want to balance a budget and you have less money coming in, but you're keeping your spending at the same amount, how can you make that work? Well, I think what happened is there were backdoor deals, and what they were promised was a cut on the program that a lot of Republicans, they hate the most. And what program is that? You might be like, oh, all the stuff that Elon Musk is going after and Doge is going after. No, that's not enough to balance the budget. He's only going after programs that account for about 10% of federal expenditure. So even if they could cut that whole 10% out, which they can't, it wouldn't be enough to balance the budget. So what do they really want to go after? It's the thing they've been dying to go after for many, many decades. Social Security. That's the most expensive one. And they've never been able to do it because it's too popular. But the Republican politicians, they don't really care that much. But the people who lobby to them, billionaires, corporations, they hate Social Security. And why do they hate Social Security? Well, think about it. People have been able to get older but stay a little bit healthier over the last decade or so, meaning that there's this whole untapped resource of people who could work but don't have to because they have Social Security. But think about how desperate those people would be. If you yanked away their Social Security, they'd have to work. They'd have to take any job you'd be willing to give them for any pay. Think about like your grandma, for example, where your grandma, she probably could work, but she's not as sharp as she used to be as much, right? She's not as physically capable as she used to be. So you could also pay her very, very, very little. So they would be a desperate workforce that wouldn't really be able to demand as much income. And companies would love to get access on such cheap labor. But also, wealthy people in general hate having to pay for stuff that they themselves don't need. That's why they absolutely hate the ACA. They hate Obamacare because when you're wealthy, you can just go pay for any procedure that you want. You don't need health insurance. They don't have health insurance. They don't need it. So when we have cheap or affordable health care, it makes us more like the wealthy. And that's the thing that really grinds their gears, especially when they're the ones that are helping pay for it. They don't want us to be like them. Imagine if you purchased a really expensive TV and it was the biggest TV in the neighborhood. And then everyone else in the neighborhood got a similar TV, but for less money or for free. You'd be like, well, this is ridiculous. This thing made me better than everybody else. Well, Social Security makes us more like the wealthy. What do the wealthy do? They do whatever they want. They just go on vacation. They, put their money in investments. Maybe they get a little part-time job here and there, but they just don't have to do anything. When you finally get to retire, you get to spend a couple of years before you die being a little bit more like a wealthy person. You don't have to work. You can kind of just breathe. Well, that's the thing that really makes the wealthy the wealthy. They're able to afford time, and they don't want you to have it. They want you to be poor.